Welcome to my cricket dreams. In this video, I plan to say today's cricket news. Here we can look at the top 10 greatest batsmen of Test cricket who have never been ranked number 1 in Tests. Ever since the first ever Test match in 1877, which was between England and Australia played, the game has undergone a lot of development and rule changes. There was the inception of limited overs cricket, starting with one-day internationals, first with 60 overs and then came the 50 overs game. T20 cricket, the shortest format of the game, came next. A lot of great batsmen such as Sachin Tendulkar, V.V. Richards, Ricky Ponting, etc. have played the game over the years for us. Each format needs a different approach, and currently being consistent across all three formats is a commendable feat. While players like Cheteshwar Pujara are recognized as a Test specialists, some players like Kane Williamson and Virat Kohli can bat exceptionally well in any given format of the game. Test match cricket is called an old school by someone, but for the cricket pursuit, the Royal Whites and the Red Cherry always remain the testament of a player's class. There have been batsmen who have achieved tremendous success in Test cricket, which requires incredible patience and endurance. Here are the top 10 greatest batsmen of the Test cricket who have never been ranked number 1 by the ICC, despite their impressive efforts in cricket's longest format of the game. Number 1. Faf du Plessis. Faf du Plessis is one of the most cricket latest boomers. The 35-year-old South African skipper made an ODI debut in 2011 and the Test debut in 2012 for South Africa. Despite making a late debut for South Africa, du Plessis showcased his worth in a very first Test against the mighty Australians. He was the last man to dismiss in the first innings, scoring nearly 80 runs in reply to Australia's 550. In the second innings, he played a much more brilliant knock of 110 runs not out, facing nearly 400 balls, 376, lasting over nearly 8 hours at the crease. Du Plessis was also at the crease when South Africa were chasing a Babbitt 458 against India in December 2013. The game was drawn with South Africa finishing at 450 for 7. And du Plessis again played a pivotal role and played nearly 300 balls and scored a crucial 134. Being a fan of debut centuries, he also scored an unbeaten century in the first day-night Test involving South Africa, 118 runs not out versus the mighty Australians again. However, du Plessis has never been ranked number 1 by the ICC in either the one-day internationals nor the Test cricket. His highest Test rankings of 10 was achieved last year in February. And number 2, Herschelle Gibbs. Another South African on this list, Herschelle Gibbs, is renowned for his devastating batting in the limited overs of the game. He was the first person to hit 6 sixes in an ODI game against the Netherlands. He is one of the also few people who have scored 3 consecutive ODI centuries as well. But in Test cricket, however, his career did not go out of the best of starts as he would want to wish. With 54 being his highest score after 12 games, in his 13th Test, he went on to score a double century against the Kiwis, 211 runs not out of 468 balls, a slow-paced innings which was usually not associated with Gibbs. He hit his purple patch in Test cricket after he scored his second double century. He scored 228 against the Green Pakistan in January 2003, at this time at a strike rate of 95. He followed that up with 2 centuries in the series against England in the July-August 2003 series. And also Gibbs fell short of the century mark against Pakistan in the next series, scoring 98 in the second Test. He would also go on to score centuries in all games against West Indies. 142, 142 and 192 in the 2003-2004 Test Series versus West Indies. Despite such a strong run of form for Herschelle Gibbs did not run the summit of ICC rankings in that season. He achieved his career high rank of 6 after his second double century against the pedigree Pakistan and a career high rating of 825. After the West Indies series, he ended his career with over 6,000 runs to his name in Test match cricket. Number 3, Brendon McCullum. The former Kiwi skipper was one of the most loved and entertaining cricketers in the world. He was a swashbuckling opener and the immense amount of strength he possessed could clear any boundary with ease. Ask Gayle State, whose very first ball of the World Cup 2015 semi-final game was smashed out of the park by the Kiwi batsman. In the first ever IPL game of 2008 as well, he scored 158 not out while playing for KKR, Kolkata Knight Riders, an innings that took the world by storm. McCullum was never quite the influence in the Test cricket that he was in the shorter formats of the game like ODI and T20s. Despite playing over 100 Test matches, 176 innings in total. The closest McCullum came into the spot in the ICC Test rankings was way back in 2014. In December 2013, he scored a century against the West Indies and he started the series against India with a double century at the Eden Park. 224 or 307. In the next game, he went on to notch a much higher score, a triple century at Wellington, 302 or 559 versus India. If he had been consistent for even more few matches, he could have easily breached the ICC's top 10 and could have possibly even reached the number 1 spot for him. However, he followed it up with a poor toll of the Caribbeans. He started the next series against Pakistan on a much higher average note, but ended up with a double century in December 2014. He scored nearly 200 runs against Sri Lanka to follow it up, but his inconsistency struck again and McCullum could not breach the top 10 rankings. He was a brilliant batsman and a brilliant wicketkeeper for New Zealand in the shorter formats of the game, but his best ever rank in Test cricket was just 12, which came after his triple century against India in 2014 Wellington Test. And number 4, Gill. Christopher Henry Gill can be cast in the same mold as Brendon McCullum. The West Indian opener is a proper entertainer and a great persona on the pitch. Along with the likes of some few more cricketers like A.B. de Villiers, Brendon McCullum and Andy Russell, he is just one of the batsmen to whom you would volunteer to bowl in a T20 match. We don't associate Gill with patience and running between the wickets. He has had his fair share of exploits in Test cricket, however, including a career high scoring of 333 score at a strike rate of 76 against Sri Lanka in 2010, his second career triple century. Owing to his inconsistency in Test, Gill was never in the top 5 of the ICC rankings. His career best rankings of 10 came after his triple century in November 2010, before which he has scored 2 centuries in Australian tour in December 2009. Gill played 182 Test innings, scoring over 7,000 runs for a team, with 15 centuries, 3 double centuries and 2 triple centuries in his pocket. And number 5, Justin Langer. Matthew Hayden and Adam Gilchrist were the Australia's tried and tested ODI opening combination for a large part of the 2000s. In Test, Gilchrist batted down the order and Michael Slater and Matthew Hayden shared the opening burden. Justin Langer batted one down till 2001. After making his debut way back in 1983 against a deadly West Indian bowling attack which was mainly led by Curtly Ambrose and E.R. Bishop, he opened for the first time in the Test in the all-tested Ashes 2001, scoring a brilliant century 102 not out after having been dropped for poor form previously as an opener. Langer fared better. The next series was against the Kiwis. Langer scored 104 at Brisbane in the first test and 123 at Hobart in the next test. In the following series against South Africa, he got 2 more centuries at Adelaide 116 and Sydney 126 respectively. And also this was the best spell of form in Test cricket, but even this couldn't help him achieve only a career high rank of 6 in Test cricket. He scored a double century 250 in the Ashes in 2003 at Melbourne and was Australia's top scorer with 391 runs in the Ashes in 2015. And number 6, Kevin Peterson. This might come as a surprise. Everyone knows Kevin Peterson was destined for great heights in the sport when he debuted against Australia in the Ashes in 2005. In the first test of Lord's itself, he came into bat at 18 for 3 after his team was struggling and scored a gritty 57 in the first innings. In the second innings, he came after a similar collapse, but this time he remained unbeaten on 64. In the final test of the Ashes, Peterson was in best of form. He smashed 158 runs in the second innings before being dismissed by the Australian speedster Glenn McCarthy. Then the 25-year-old finished his first Ashes with 350s and a century. With nearly 500 runs, he was also the team's top scorer in his debut series as well. Peterson's best run of form followed the Ashes. He had the successful tours against Sri Lanka, India and the Meningreen, Pakistan. But Peterson achieved his career high rank of 3 after scoring 70 and 60 in the first and second innings at the WACA. Peterson reached his rating of 909 after scorings of 109 and 226 in consecutive games against West Indies. It can be seen how unlucky is Kevin Peterson that he was not achieved the top rankings, considering the current number 1 batsman Steve Smith, who plays for Australia, the current Australia team, with 911 ratings. And number 7, VVS Lakshman. Indian middle order batsman VVS Lakshman was a test specialist to be known for, who was much more successful in the longest format of the game than in the limited overs cricket such as ODIs and T20s. Lakshman has played many handy knocks for his national team India, and his composed run chase against Australia at Mohali is a knock fresh in the minds of every Indian cricket fan. However, his 281 against Australia way back in 2001 test at Eden Gardens is undoubtedly his most famous knock. It came after the follow-on had been enforced on India, who then went on to win that test courtesy of Lakshman's brilliant innings. Lakshman was highly successful against Australia, which is a strange thing to know, because at that time Australia were a great, maybe the best bowling side during his peak years. The Prithvi batsman scored 6 centuries and 12 50s at an average near 50. Shane Warne admitted after the 2001 series, which he played against India, that he was clueless as how to stop Lakshman from fire. Despite his great batting exploits, being a low order batsman gave him minimal chances to score many big centuries. His highest test rankings of 6 was achieved in 2011, a year before he retired, proving that he aged like fine wine. And number 8, Sanath Jayasuriya. Sanath Jayasuriya was simply a dreadful man to bowl to the ODIs. Sri Lankan opener was a very belligerent batsman who had no respect for the new ball and proceeded to play his natural attacking games at the start of every innings. In a game against Pakistan in April 1996, Sri Lanka lost their first wicket at the score of 71. The departing batsman Ramesh Kalatana scored a duck after playing 11 balls. All the runs on the board were scored by Jayasuriya alone. In the ODI format, he introduced the new culture of going after the bowlers at the start of the innings, which was quite unusual. However, it was a different situation in the Test cricket, unfortunately for Sanath Jayasuriya. In contrast to the 13,000 ODI runs he scored, he managed only around 6,000 runs in the Test cricket. After his debut in 1991 for Sri Lanka, the 2 matches against India at Colombo in 1997 were possibly his best knocks ever. He scored 340 in the first game at R. Pramadasa Stadium, and in the next game he scored 199 in the second innings at Sinhasle Sports Club ground. In the 2004, Jadeja got 3 centuries, one each against Australia, Zimbabwe and Pakistan. His 253 against Pakistan at Faisalabad came in the same year as well. On the back of these performances, Jadeja ranked lost to career high 3 in January 2005. He retired from Test cricket in 2007, but not before hitting 6 fours in a single over of James Anderson in his final Test. Number 9 and the last one is none other than the South African former skipper Graeme Smith. Over 9,000 runs, 27 Test centuries and 5 double centuries, but he never been ranked 1. Former South African skipper Graeme Smith is undoubtedly the best Test opener that the nation has ever had. Very early in his cricketing career, way back in 2003, he went on to score consecutive double centuries against England in their first Test at Edgbaston. He scored 277 and 85. In the next game of Lords, he scored 259, which remains the highest ever scored by a foreign player at Lords. Smith also holds some laudable Test records himself. He has scored the most Test centuries as a captain in a winning cause, 15. He is also the player who has scored the most number of Test runs as a captain, 8,659. The left-handed opener has been a part of all 4 of South Africa's opening batsmen, which made over 300 runs, 301, 338 and 368, with herschelle, Gibbs and the Centurion, Birmingham and Cape Town respectively, and the 415 with Neil McCullum at Chattanooga. Smith achieved a career-high ranking of 2 in January 2010, with Gautam Gambhir being the ranked first at that time. Unfortunately for Graeme Smith, he retired 2012, 2 years after that, and he still remained in the number 2nd Test position, which was quite unlucky for Graeme Smith to know. Thank you for watching my channel. Can like, subscribe and comment. And for more such notifications of the world cricket, can you subscribe channel, and also can you like, share and comment the video. Thank you.